Everybody, it's Jamie Casarda here, your holistic pet mentor, and I hope you guys are enjoying the nice weather and getting outside with your pets, especially your dogs. They need lots of exercise, don't they? All right, so I am going to show you how to do your own bye-bye bug spray. Hi, Linda. And I'm going to show you some variations for those of you who say, oh, I don't have peppermint oil, or I don't have eucalyptus, or I don't have cedarwood. I'm going to show you some options, and I'll explain why I use the oils that I use. But this is a very common question that I get in the beginning of summer. Sometimes I get it in late spring, and I just thought I'll explain it on a video, and then you guys have this tutorial to use whenever you need. So, all right, I want to give a little shout out and plug to my friend, Caitlin from Kate's Craft Corner. She made me this t-shirt and I wanted to share it with you guys. It says eat, sleep, oil, repeat. And I think it's adorable. She does great work. So if you guys want to get a t-shirt like this, you can check out Kate's Craft Corner on Facebook. She does a great job. And she happens to be my neighbor. And I've also helped her with her pets. So she's a wonderful person. I think you should check out her stuff. She does a great job. All right, so anyhow, let's talk about the bug spray. You're going to need a 4-ounce spray bottle. I use the 4-ounce. This seems to be plenty for my family. I use it for my whole family. You can use this on your dogs. You can use this for your kids, for yourself. I do make it pretty strong, and that's because I want this recipe to last a while. I want to be able to spray it on and be able to go for a hike for a couple hours and not get bitten by bugs, right? So you probably want the same thing for your dogs. So I'm going to show you some how I make it, and then I'm going to explain some variations as I go along, okay? So the first thing I do anytime I start a spray recipe, and please don't mind my squeaky chair. I just realized it's doing a lot of squeaky. All right, so the first thing I do is I add fractionated coconut oil. Now I use doTERRA essential oils, so I use their fractionated coconut oil, and I use their essential oils because they're the safest, they're the most tested, most trusted, purest essential oils. I really love them. They work great for my family. So that's what I recommend. And I do have a link that I shared on the top of here. So if you don't yet have your essential oils and you want to get some of these oils for your own recipe, and you can use these oils for a million other things, by the way, but you can get started, get them at wholesale prices. You'll be able to make lots and lots of these for many years. You'll be able to refill this as often as you need, and then you already have all the things you need on hand. So you'll need a fractionated coconut oil, and I put about a third, but you could just a third of a bottle, or if you want, you could just do a couple tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil. So I did I'm out of fractionated coconut oil now. I just used it all up. All right, so you can see here, it's not a perfect science. It doesn't have to be exact. That's something I noticed with a lot of people. They're like, give me exact measurements. That's the great thing about essential oils. You don't have to be perfect. Okay, so the base oil that I use for my bye-bye bug spray, hey Chris, hi Rachel, is TerraShield. This is the outdoor blend, and this is a perfect base essential oil blend to put in your bye-bye bug spray. And it contains ylang-ylang, catnip, tamanu, nootka, cedarwood, eucalyptus, lemon eucalyptus, vanilla, and arborvitae. And you'll see that I add some of those oils extra into my blend because they're such powerhouse oils that bugs don't like, okay? All right, so I'm not gonna count out each drop, but I want you to write this down. 50 drops of TerraShield for a 4-ounce spray bottle. Yes, 50 drops. So I'll just put a couple just to show you. It does take a while with the TerraShield. It is a thicker, more viscous oil. I'll just do 5 for now. And just remember, you have to do 50. Okay, you have to do 50 drops of that. The next oil I'm going to use is going to be one of those repellent grasses. Okay, so you've got some choices. You can use lemon eucalyptus, you can use lemongrass, or you can use citronella. So I always pick one of these citrusy type grasses. So I'm going to use lemon eucalyptus, And what's great about these is they are so inexpensive and they work for so many great things. If you have a dog that has seasonal discomforts, has itchy, stinky skin, if it smells yeasty, lemon eucalyptus is wonderful for keeping those yeast under control. So this will have dual benefits when you're combining it in their Bye Bye Bug Spray, okay? So you'll want to do 20 drops of either lemongrass, lemon eucalyptus, or citronella. All right, so I'll just start with 10. 10. All right, so we'll just start there. I'll finish this up when I'm done. I don't want to keep you guys all day. All right, so the next oil I use is from the minty family. I'm real technical here. You can either use peppermint. Now, if you want to be able to use the spray on your cats as well, I would use eucalyptus instead. It's just a little less minty. Does that make sense? Eucalyptus has a nice minty smell, but cats tend to tolerate it a lot better. And usually just using one oil like TerraShield by itself on a cat is plenty because they're small. You don't have to put that much oil on them, but you will want to dilute it down. You can use this spray on a cat. You're just going to need to spray your hands first, rub your hands together, and then rub down your cat before they go outside. If they're indoors, you don't really need to be applying repellents on them, especially if you're applying them on your dogs and yourself. Then your cats aren't going to need them as much. So you can either pick peppermint or eucalyptus. This time I'm going to use eucalyptus, and you'll do 20 drops from the mint family. So 1, 2, 3. And like I said, I'm cutting the recipe down just for time's sake. All right, then you want to pick an oil from the flower family. You see what I'm doing here? We're getting a wide variety of oils that have those properties that are going to repel the insects that do damage, right? So we want to pick an oil from each plant family, and we want to utilize that to keep all sorts of bugs away from us and not biting us. I believe that these oils, when you smell like a plant, kind of confuses the bugs, and they're getting these compounds, signals sent at them, and they're like, that's not something I'm supposed to eat, right? But when you don't have these oils on you, they can then get you as a blood meal. So that's how I believe they work, because the bugs stay off of us. That's why I say bye bye bugs. They stay away from us. They don't try to bite us. And so I think this recipe works really, really well, and I hope you guys give it a try. So, all right, you can either use from the floral family. I like to either choose geranium or lavender, okay? I personally enjoy lavender's aroma a lot better. I think it's accepted pretty well by a lot of people and animals. Has a lot of great benefits, especially, again, if your dog or cat has skin issues, you're going to want to use, well, either one. Geranium's great for the skin as well. So these are calming oils to the skin. They help with that itch, so they're not scratching as much. Also, they have their own natural properties to keep bugs off. So you're going to want to use 20 drops of that as well. So again, I'm just going to do 10, 8, 9, 10. All right, perfect. Now, one more. I know that seems like a lot, but we're going to do one more. I want you to pick an oil. So we're doing 5 oils, right? We did our base of TerraShield. Then we picked one of these grassy oils. Then we picked a mint, then a floral, and now we're going to pick a bark or like a root, a deep, either a root or a bark oil, something very grounding, okay? And this can keep away critters that bite from the ground, right? So the critters that like to go, the root critters, the ones that are eating trees, that type of thing. Your trees are going to produce oils to keep those bugs off of them. They're going to be root oils and they're going to be bark oils. So we want to pick one of those. You can use turmeric. Now this would scare away just about anybody. If you've smelled this oil, turmeric, yeah, it smells like burnt coffee if you ask me. So yeah, it's a great bug repellent, but I'm not going to use turmeric just because I like to keep that for joint support. I like to put that in a veggie cap for myself. If I have any kind of tension, you know, in my muscles and joints, if they're throbbing or anything like that. I need to get that inflammation back in balance. So I use turmeric for that. So I save it for that. You can use cedarwood. Cedarwood's another great choice. This bark oil is fantastic at warding off insects that you don't want to be biting you. So this is a great one, especially for fleas. I've seen really cool things with cedarwood and lavender getting fleas off of cats. So really cool. Cedarwood's a good choice. I'm actually not going to use that one today. My favorite Bye Bye Bug wood type repelling type oil is Arbor Vitae. Arbor Vitae is a powerhouse little oil. It's got all kinds of fantastic properties. You can even use it for immune support. It's good for those dogs that have the stinky, itchy skin. Again, Arbor Vitae is great for the skin, and the insects don't like it. It's so protective to those trees, and so that's why I want to use it, and I've had really, really good results using Arbor Vitae. Now, for your tree oil, you only need 10 drops. So we're going to do the 10 drops. Now, this little bottle, Arbor Vitae, only comes in a 5 ml. So the 5 mLs have about 100 drops. Okay, it depends on the viscosity of the oil. So about 100 drops. So if you're using 10 drops, you could technically make 10 bottles out of this. All right, so 10 of these 4-ounce spray bottles. So that just goes to show how far your oils will last you for these repelling sprays if you're just using them for things like this. But you don't want to miss out on all the other great benefits that these oils have. And if you aren't connected with a wellness advocate, if you don't have a community that's supporting you in natural wellness, I invite you to connect with me, and I would love to pull you into our oil community so that we can support you with your health goals and teach you all about these oils in great detail and how you can use them for all kinds of things, more than just repellents. But we're going to focus on the repellents today. So we do 10 drops of that. Now you want to top it off with distilled water. Now, a little variation is you can add aloe vera juice. Okay, that would work. It's good for the skin. You could add some vitamin E oil for dogs that have any kind of irritated skin. You want to use the oil because you don't want to put topical pesticides on them. Topical pesticides cause their blood to be toxic, right? And so we don't want to create that. What we want is the effect of the essential oils to keep the bugs from biting them in the first place. That's why I'm so big on making our own natural sprays for our pets. Okay, so you can either use aloe vera juice, you can use a little bit of vitamin E. You don't even have to get that fancy. You can use some raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother. I would not fill it up the whole way. Just put a couple tablespoons of this stuff. It's potent, but let me tell you, it helps with the pH of the skin of your pet, so they're not as tasty and tempting to bugs like fleas and ticks, right? So this could actually play a big role in preventing fleas from wanting to bite your pet, okay? And it helps keep their coat healthy. It's also great for the pH of their skin. Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to actually just use this spray for my family. And my cat doesn't go outside very much. And when he does, yeah, he's only out for like 5 minutes and then he wants to come back in. And he hasn't had fleas since I worked at the animal shelter full time, which was back in 2000, right? So it was 2000 to 2008. So yeah, that's when I was full time. And then I did 3 years here at home working for the shelter. So I didn't bring fleas home then. So if you're working in a shelter setting, or you're a veterinarian or a veterinary technician, or you're with dogs and cats all day long, you might actually be bringing fleas or flea larvae home on your clothes, in which case when you walk in the door, you need to change. I used to have a special bin just for my VMT clothes and my shelter clothes because I didn't want to keep bringing fleas into my home. So that can happen. If you go hiking and that type of thing and you did not spray yourself down, yes, you could be bringing those things into your home. However, I haven't had that problem with my kitty cat, but it doesn't mean you won't. So you might want to spray your cat down once a week, you know, and just put it on your hands first and then rub your cat. Okay, so then I'm just going to use distilled water. These are super expensive, inexpensive. I get it at the grocery store. It says distilled water. It just means there's no minerals, no bacteria, no nothing in that water. It's just completely purified. It's not really great drinking water, by the way, because there's really nothing in it. It's a pH of 7, but it's great for sprays. It's so good for sprays because there's a very slim chance of bacteria wanting to grow in there because there shouldn't be any bacteria in it. And your oils have that natural property to keep bacteria from growing as well. So you just want to top it off with some distilled water. So I want you to just think about the ratios here. The more fractionated coconut oil you have, the longer your spray is going to last on the fur. Okay, it's going to stick to the fur. However, the more fractionated coconut oil you have, it's going to look more greasy. Now, if you put more distilled water and less fractionated coconut oil, it's a lot less greasy. However, it may evaporate more quickly. So that's the little balance that you play when you're making your spray blends. I've had people message me and they said, Jamie, your spray blend works, but it's only working for 10 minutes. And I said, well, what are you using as the carrier? And they told me witch hazel. Witch hazel is going to make it evaporate super fast. So don't use alcohol. Don't use witch hazel. Your bye-bye bug spray will not work very well if you use those things that are evaporating super quickly, especially in the heat. So you want to use a carrier oil that's going to be kind of heavy. Fractionated coconut oil is perfect for that. And it's not as heavy as, olive oil and other, it's a more stable oil, so it's less likely to go rancid, less likely to have problems. So I just really love fractionated coconut oil for these sprays, and it's safe for pets. Good for all pets, okay? So then you just wanna, I do about 1/3 of the fractionated coconut oil. That's what I have found to be longer lasting, less greasy, right? And then just top it off with your distilled water. Okay, and if you want, you can always add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, especially for your itchy dogs. Or if you have a senior dog that seems to attract insects, if your dog or cat has health issues, they are going to be prime candidates for bugs wanting to get on them. The bugs sense when your pet's immune system isn't strong. So they are more likely to have fleas. I've had people in the same home say, I have this senior dog with all these health issues that gets fleas, but yet my other 3 dogs who are healthy do not. They do not seem to have a problem, and it has a lot to do with their immune system. So balance their immune system, help them with their food. There's lots that we can do, but I would definitely use this instead of putting on those topical pesticides. I also, the Seresto collars, I know they're super popular. I really want to caution you guys about using those. Look them up. Make sure you look at every aspect. Look at the pros and cons. Oftentimes when you're talking to your vet, they're teaching you about the pros of using those spot-on products. Yeah, they get rid of the bugs fast. They're very convenient. You just have to apply it on once a month. But we have to look at the long-term effects of that. Are we burdening their bodies to a point where cancer might be created? Are we causing allergies? Are we causing other autoimmune problems? So I just want to give you guys a little heads up about that, and just be very cautious when you're using the topical products, the topical spot-ons, the things that you're getting prescribed by your veterinarian. I know there's some cases where it's necessary. It may be something where, a pet from the shelter or something. In that case, we've had animals come into the shelter that have had every parasite under the sun, and the we had at the shelter were topical spot-on products. So that's all we knew. That's all we had at the time, and we did the best we could with what we had. But knowing now, and what I didn't know then, I would definitely have tried these oils. First of all, they cost a lot less. So if you're working at a shelter, you guys could save so much money by using essential oils to make these safe shampoos. You can use Castile soap, use the essential oils, and I am more than happy to guide you guys with that. I could walk you through step by step and how to get these bugs off these animals in a very safe way. And I know maybe you're just having them for a short period of time, you need something quick, but I think we can work on this little by little, and we can change how we're approaching sick animals in a way that's not going to set them up for health issues later on in life or shorten their lifespan, okay? All right, everybody, I'm not going to go too much deeper into that because I could talk about that another day for hours, and I'm not going to do that to you. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you found this recipe helpful. Put it to work. I feel like I can't share this enough, because even though I'm posting this today and I'm sharing this recipe today, I might get a question later on today saying, Jamie, what do you use for bugs? I'll be like, I just did a video. All right, so feel free to share this out with your friends. If you're a wellness advocate, share this out with your friends. If they want to get started with their oils, I definitely refer them back to whoever their wellness advocate is. We have a lot of amazing people using essential oils, and you know, I'm happy to support you guys with that. And also, if you don't have a wellness advocate and you're like, what are you talking about with these essential oils? I want to learn about them. I don't have anybody. You're the one who introduced me to them. Well, then hit me up. Send me a direct message. I'll help you get started. I'll teach you about all the things essential oils and how they can be used for so many things, not just repellents, but repellents is a great start, right? Okay, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Hi, Girly. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Tacy. Hi, Sibs. Good to see you. Hi, Chris. Is this for ants? Yeah, Chris, you can use, I like to use peppermint or cinnamon for ants, but another trick that I use is chalk. I know, it's so simple. You can just use like real thick chalk, find out where the ants are coming in, and if there's like a cement area, usually for us it's the garage or the front porch where they try to get in, and I draw a line. I say, don't go past this line. It's the funniest thing. Chalk or cinnamon powder will confuse the ants, and it messes up their trail, and you clean up the ants that came inside. You spray peppermint all around the doors and windows. I do a peppermint spray. I use it on my flowers as well, and the ants stop. I mean, it's very, very quick. So another benefit of peppermint is spiders. Spiders hate peppermint, everybody. So don't have those chemical people come spray your lawn or spray around your house. Not necessary. Just use peppermint. You will be amazed on how well peppermint essential oil works to keep bugs out of your house. So just spray around your doors, around your windows. You may have to do it every couple weeks, but you know what? It saves on chemical treatments. It saves your immune system. It's safe for your pets. I've been doing it for 6.5 years, and we don't have a bug issue in our home. Like, this is the best it's ever been. Before I started using essential oils, we had a major spider problem. We had ants. In previous homes, I had problems with fleas all the time. I was constantly bombing the house, having chemical treatments, and I just could never seem to figure out how to keep those things out of the home. And now we don't have that issue. It's a non-issue. So I hope you guys implement these strategies. Keep your home bug-free, keep your pets bug-free, keep yourself bug-free. I want you to feel good about going outside, going hiking, going to the park, going for walks with your family. Get outside, enjoy life, because this is what we have, right? It's all we have. So I hope you guys are enjoying life. All right, thanks again. Thanks for joining me live, and thanks for those of you who hung in here and watched the replay. So have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.